Many fantasies are being transformed into reality by modern science.
What is good? What is good, people? Welcome to the show. We are back for another one. Thank you. Appreciate you guys pulling up one more time. I'm going to talk about this Hunter Biden thing a little bit. Something else came across my radar we might spend some time on. I don't know. But this Hunter Biden thing is interesting. Everybody expected it to happen because why would you let it happen if you're the president? But it's not that Hunter got pardoned by his big shot daddy. It's that everybody said, oh, no, this couldn't happen. We would never. We're noble and pure. We don't do things like that. We believe in justice. We believe in the rule of law. We're gay for democracy. That's what they kept telling us on the news. And so now Hunter Biden gets pardoned for not only a gun charge, he has a blanket pardon. He has a proactive pardon. For a good year period, he has been proactively pardoned for any crime that he may have committed that's already being prosecuted, or any crime that they may discover he had committed and therefore would not be prosecuted. This nigga got blanket immunity. Is this not white supremacy? Is that systemic racism?
Rage on that beat, going crazy.
Second one, will the president pardon or commute his son if he's convicted?
So I've answered this question before. It was asked of me not too long ago, a couple of weeks ago, and I was very clear and I said no.
Okay, let me go back to the first question of the briefing. I know you said not a lot's changed since yesterday and that it's a personal matter, but from a presidential perspective, is there any possibility that the president would end up pardoning his son?
No.
Again, you've also said several times that the president would not pardon or commute the sentence for his son, Hunter. I just want to make sure that that is not going to change over the next 6 months. The president's saying he would not.
It's still a no. It's still a
It
no.
will always be a no.
It's still a no. It will be a no. It is a no. And I don't have anything else to add. Will he pardon his son? No.
Second one, will the president pardon or commute?
The presidential promise to put the law before a family.
I said I abide by the jury decision. I will do that, and I will not pardon him.
Letting the world know that he will not wipe away the decision of 12 of his son's peers.
Was asked directly, and he has said he wouldn't pardon his son if he gets convicted.
Let's wait and see what happens if he loses.
Yeah, but he said it.
He's going to get pardoned by his dad. There's no question about that.
The president has ruled out pardoning his son.
Major commitment from the president, accepting the outcome of the trial and also pledging not to pardon his son.
So the challenge for him is really to continue to live up to his values when it was really personal. And he did that today.
It seems like a pretty normal, straightforward answer, but it takes new weight when we see what Trump is saying about the outcome of his trial, what we're hearing from other Republicans who say they don't accept the jury's verdict here in New York.
The contrast is profound. To sit there and say, well, I'm not going to intervene in the legal process and I wouldn't pardon my son. One side, Democrats and Joe Biden protecting the justice system. And on the other, Republicans and Trump protecting Trump.
Our current president of the United States has so much respect for the law that he has said he would not pardon his son. I mean, again, it's all about the contrast.
President Biden saying, I will respect whatever this jury decides versus Donald Trump after he was convicted on 34 counts, saying the entire system is rigged against him.
Their latest attack has been that Joe Biden has politicized and weaponized the DOJ, right? That was the whole argument around Donald Trump's conviction. And this week, of course, Hunter Biden was found guilty, and Joe Biden has very clearly said he would not pardon his son, he would not commute his sentence. How stark is this difference? I mean, how can Republicans keep making this argument now that Joe Biden has really put it out there? Where's Hunter? And he stood there in a courtroom, flanked by his family, and he's accepted his sentence.
He is not pardoning his son, which he could do. These are federal charges. Right. He is not doing that. He is not doing it because he is living what it means to have a rule of law in this country. Yeah. And it isn't, I mean, if you want to know if he believes it, you could actually see what is happening with his own son.
The president, Anderson, has been really clear that he is going to accept the outcome of the trial no matter what happens.
So Joe Biden's gotten asked about, talking about law and order. He's gotten asked if he would pardon his son. He has said no. On the other side, you've got Donald Trump, who has said that he will pardon the January 6th insurrectionists. Yeah. They're not even his sons. They're just sons of bitches.
Washington said, I am not running again because he understood the self-restraint was absolutely essential to this country. So you don't have a king. He did not pardon his son. He did not order the Department of Justice to say, don't prosecute my son. So impressive.
Could have ordered the Justice Department to halt the prosecution of Hunter Biden, according to this court. Everyone understands he's a decent man.
I think Joe Biden has a chance here to stand up for the rule of law, to say the law is the law, no matter who it is, no matter if it's Trump or Biden. And remember, part of Trumpism's dangerousness is that it tears down institutions, important institutions of our democracy. So there's an opportunity here for Biden to say, the jury found him guilty. This is how it's supposed to work. Period, paragraph, end of story.
Have you ruled out a pardon for your son?
Yes.
As I said last week, I will accept the outcome of this case and will continue to respect the judicial process as Hunter considers an appeal. The president said he won't touch it. He said he's not going to pardon his son. And it seems that Merrick Garland let it go through. How can the Justice Department be weaponized against Trump when all of that is happening?
But Democrats stand for the rule of law. Remember, law and order. And we've been saying that Trump's not above the law. Hunter Biden's not above the law. No one is above the law. And it is amazing to see the stark contrast between how Democrats handled today and how Republicans handled this whole thing over the last couple of weeks.
For years, these conservatives have been crowing about a politicized Justice Department, Biden politicizing it, and so on. What happened today? The Justice Department convicted the president's own son, his only living son. You heard the president say he would accept the outcome of the case. I know no other word for that, but presidential.
Mm-hmm. He even went so far as to say he wouldn't pardon his son. That's how much respect he has for the system.
The president has said that he will not pardon his son. What did you think of that?
I thought it was extraordinary. I mean, it was a moment of just moral clarity on the part of Joe Biden, and couldn't have been in starker contrast to the way Donald Trump has handled his own conviction.
He could still pardon him. He said he won't do that. All of that conduct, given that it's his son, is kind of, we should pause for a moment and think about how unbelievable that is. In a million years, if the shoe were on the other foot and Donald Trump was facing the prospect of his son being prosecuted by a Biden, if I had been held over, a Biden holdover or Obama holdover prosecutor, not in a million years would that have happened. So, some of the people on the right, the people who support Donald Trump, are trying to cast this as some clever ops program.
Yeah. Hunter Biden was found guilty by a jury of his peers, just like Donald Trump, because this is our justice system at work. The divide here is stunning, and it's a great reminder that one political party remains committed to the rule of law and the other doesn't.
Joe Biden has already proven he is willing to stand up for the rule of law in a way that we could all never imagine Donald Trump to do.
Pretty emphatic over the last few days that he does not plan to pardon or commute his son. What that really is him saying is, I don't plan to use the powers of the office, the powers of the presidency, to provide private relief for my family. In a sense, he's staking out a pretty bright line between being, as he says, a president and a dad. And that's not just an emotional expression. He's in effect saying, I don't think that I don't have a right, even if it's legal, and God knows it must be tempting to use this power in a way that is not available to so many other Americans facing similar kinds of struggles. There's a kind of old school sort of flinty core to his conception of how you are to be in the system, how you are to be as a person, a moral person, and ultimately how to contend with questions of power. One of the things that anybody who spends time around Joe Biden comes to know is that he's had this long-running focus on how much he is bothered by abuses of power.
Will accept the verdict no matter what it is, and that he has ruled out pardoning his own son. Contrast that from what we hear from Donald Trump. And again, we have to underline, in no uncertain terms, President Biden saying, I will accept the outcome. I will accept what the jury decides here. That's the way our legal system works. And no, I will not pardon my own son if he is convicted.
And the contrast is so clear in terms of decency and principle and transactional guidance in terms of how you view the world.
It is still a good day for the United States that this conviction is a prime example of the way our judicial system is supposed to work. Even President Biden saying in a statement that he would respect the outcome of this case. Those words so completely contrast with what his opponent, now a convicted felon himself, continues to say about the U.S. courts.
The contrast to how Trump has behaved, how Trump has treated the rule of law. This was a good day for the system, good day for sort of America as an example of how the rule of law should work.
President Biden told David Muir that he would absolutely accept the verdict, whatever it was, and that he would not pardon his son, regardless. And today he said the same thing in a statement. Meanwhile, Donald Trump comes out and calls the justice system completely unfair. What do you think of that contrast?
There's the contrast of two different men.
Here is Joe Biden, who has lost a son who served honorably in the armed forces, who now has basically said, I will sacrifice my surviving son's future. I will allow him to serve a prison term if that's what's determined, because that is what the rule of law demands.
The president announces that he will not pardon his son. Do you think ordinary Americans give enough thought to how this system is a miracle, a gift to this country, a gift to democracy?
For a while now, it was years ago I first kind of made this comparison, but as Joe Biden was taking over and he was going to become the president, I kind of pointed out to everybody that because he had his scandals swirling around and people the Burisma thing was out there. Everybody knew Biden was insanely dirty. And I started comparing Biden to Ed Winkler Sr. Great dirty white man in media history.
Would you like some cheese? Did you just offer me cheese?
Yes, I did.
I'd love some cheese, thank you. This looks like a kid drew it. Look at this. Why are all these backwards?
See, Biden, he has that look. He has that doddering old man. I just don't know what I'm doing anymore type of look. But underneath it all is a rich, ruthless bastard who'll take all of your shit. He'll drink your milkshake.
It's supposed to be cute.
You think ignorance is cute? Well, I suppose you think mental retardation is downright adorable. Lemonade, now. How is anyone supposed to believe you can make lemonade when you can't even spell it? How old are you? Too damn old to be writing your E's backwards, damn it.
That's the real Joe Biden. I promise you, this is all an act. The real Joe Biden is like a white gangster motherfucker. He is not really, I don't even think he's even slow. I think he was probably faking this whole shit. Halfway through, he felt like, oh, these fucking Democrats, they about to bust a move on me. I got a fix for these niggas. This nigga is an evil genius. Joe Biden is like the evilest genius in politics right now. This shit is wild. But we all know where we are right now. Biden has pardoned his son. Hunter's not going to jail. And everybody expected it to happen. But because everybody lied and said it would never happen, now all you niggas look crazy.
Over the Hunter Biden pardon has been swift. Republican lawmakers quick to criticize President Biden over this. Some Democrats also speaking out about the bad precedent that they fear that this sets. The incoming chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, Republican Chuck Grassley, weighing in with this, saying, I'm shocked that President Biden pardoned his son Hunter because he said many, many times he wouldn't. And I believed him. Shame on me.
Many times. Many times. Biden said he wouldn't pardon that little son of a bitch. Yo, It's beautiful. Didn't I call this? Didn't I call this on day one of Kamala Harris running for president? I said that she's gonna blow the fucking party up. I called that shit. The party was you have to die after that. You weren't in a good spot to begin with, but putting Kamala at the top of your ticket, you have to like seppuku yourself now. You gotta do that samurai shit and open your stomach and let your best friend cut your head off. It's the only way to come back now. You have to die now because you guys are so fucked up.
CNN's Lauren Fox tracking the reaction in Washington for us. And there's a lot that we've already heard and likely a lot more to come, Lauren.
Yeah, lawmakers expected back in Washington this evening. We can expect that a lot of Republicans are going to be lashing out after this news broke late last night. But there are a number of Republicans who are making the argument that Joe Biden had said one thing and then done another. Now, there were also Republicans in the House who had worked on that impeachment probe, someone like Representative Jim Jordan, the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, who said if there was nothing to their probe, why is Hunter Biden being pardoned now? Obviously, these were different issues, but it's important to point out that the Republican backlash has been swift. Here's another Republican Senator, Ron Johnson, who said, just confirming that under Democratic governance, there truly is a dual system of justice, one that protects Democrats and another weaponized against their political opponent. But
this is systemic racism. You know, all this time, Democrats have been telling me, look inside the system. If you peer deep into the heart of the system, you will find racism in the system, right? Well, here you have the most powerful white man with his most powerful white man son committing effectively high crimes and treason. And the system is protecting this powerful white man and his son. It looks like systemic racism. I'm not even type of nigga to be believing in that type of shit, but God damn it, I think we found some.
You teach me all my life that the white man is the devil? You teach me my whole life that the white man is the devil. Now you tell me it's all right for him to come among us.
I mean, it feels like the system being racist right now. You letting this rich white dude and his rich white son, y'all just raping the Constitution. Y'all just tag team raw dog in the Constitution right now, huh? It's wild.
But it's not just Republicans, Kate, that have criticized Biden. You are also hearing from a small number of Democrats, including Representative Greg Stanton from Arizona, saying, quote, I respect President Biden, but I think he got this one wrong. He also goes on to say this: if this wasn't politically motivated, pro-Hunter committed felonies and was convicted by a jury of his peers. Kate?
Lauren, thank you so much for that. John?
All right, with us now, CNN political commentator Karen Finney and CNN senior political commentator Scott Jennings. So, Karen,
you know the best part about this whole thing isn't the fact that he did it, because Biden doesn't actually have to explain himself. Like, he's old. He's at the very last step of his political journey. And he really has no fucks left to give, nor should he. But it's watching everybody else try to explain and defend and pontificate about why this is not hypocrisy.
Just heard Democrat Greg Stanton, Democratic governor of Colorado, Jared Polis. There are Democrats saying they're not happy that President Biden made this decision.
Yeah, well, tough. The president went ahead and did what he thought was right for him and to protect his son. And I think there are going to be Democrats who, from a political perspective, are going to feel like they may have to say something, but who probably on the inside understand why President Biden went ahead and did this. And I got to tell you, crowing from Republicans, and I know my dear friend Scott will have plenty to say about this, talk about, who's using what system and what.
But Trump never lied and said he would never do that, though. That's the beauty of it. As the president, you have the right to pardon whomever you can pardon under your jurisdiction. As a man, why would you lie about it? As a professional, why would you carry the lie forward?
fashion, let's put it all on the table and let's be honest about the fact that Donald Trump doesn't really have a leg to stand on in this one.
So, Scott Jennings, what about that? Steve Bannon, Charles Kushner, Paul Manafort, Roger Stone, Michael Flynn, and Charles Kushner, not just pardoned, but also apparently about to be nominated ambassador to France.
Joe Biden is leaving office making the strongest possible case for Donald Trump that anybody could possibly make it. And that's that our government and our justice system is of, by, and for the elites and nobody else. He ran to banish Trumpism from our political system in this country, and he has left it politically and now institutionally the strongest possible political force in this country. It is a complete and utter failure.
You know what's interesting? This is like straight, no emotion analytics, but if Joe Biden had to let his son go through the system, if he'd have worked out some kind of backdoor deal to get him like a year in Club Fed or something like that, it would have been totally acceptable. And he could have he could have did his old grandstanding on the fact that I am not above the law and I won't let my son be above the law. He could have really worked this thing. But because he just went for the straight 12th hour pardon, and not just a pardon, but a preemptive pardon, the Democrats no longer have any credibility, and there's zero moral credibility for the Democrats to cash in on now. You have nothing to stand on but abortion and women's rights and butt stuff.
By the head of the Democratic Party and the President of the United States. Never again do I want to hear, oh, Donald Trump's a liar. You can't believe anything he says. Donald Trump will abuse his power. Donald Trump will only use the system to benefit himself and his family and so on and so forth. Never again. I have one question for Karen, and that is, why did he need an 11-year blanket pardon going back to 2014 when Joe Biden was the vice president? We are sitting on the biggest cover-up of who knows what crimes, and Joe Biden amazingly knows exactly.
She's laughing, but here's the thing. We're at war, kinda, in Ukraine because Joe Biden was running some kind of scam out of Ukraine, and it was easier to go to war than to go to jail. It's not like Biden was going to go to jail anyway, but that's the idea. Biden was running a scam in Ukraine. He had his son running point. They were all getting money. Next thing you know, Biden gets elected. The Ukraine scandal goes public, and now we're at war. Well, Ukraine's at war, and we're giving them guns and money. It's just like being at war. It's exactly like being at fucking war.
Roughly when it started. He knows just about when it all started. He's leaving office in complete and total disgrace. He is a liar, and there is no other way to spin this today. This has nothing to do with Trump and everything to do with the character of Joe Biden.
Let me give some context to what Scott is saying just there, Karen, before you address it, because this pardon, I do not believe we have mentioned it, not just granting clemency for the crimes for which Hunter Biden was convicted of illegally purchasing a gun, of tax evasion, but also a blanket pardon for any federal crimes that may have been committed basically between 2014 and 2024. So what about that literal get out of jail free card for a 10-year period, Karen?
Well, look, literally, the president recognizes that Republicans have been for years now trying to attack the president himself, go after his family. And when you have someone who literally ran their campaign on retribution, on the idea of I will be your retribution and getting back at his enemies, I would imagine, obviously I haven't spoken to the president about this, but I would imagine the president took a look at this and said, I want to make sure this is ironclad, that there is nothing that can be done to circumvent what I'm going to do to protect my son and to try to take the target off of his back once and for all. So that's my reading of it. But again, I think that the hypocrisy here it is astounding. I mean, Donald Trump has said and done things, said things that he and done.
This is a theme too you're going to notice with the Democrats, and it's something I definitely picked up on all through the election, actually. But today with this pardoning issue, you're going to hear it a lot. Donald Trump is so bad, we are willing to do fill in the blank of whatever horrible, inconceivable political maneuver. Donald Trump is so bad, they will do anything they can possibly think of, including, up to and including, and even beyond breaking the law. They will do whatever. He's so bad, you got anything. We'll do anything. Everything. We're going to do it all.
Done other things. And again, he's a convicted felon himself. He has used his power to benefit his friends, his wealthy allies. In this instance, we're talking about a man who decided to take care of his son after years of unrelenting attacks. I don't blame him.
Scott, did you have the same concerns over a justice system for the elite, as you put it before, when it was Donald Trump pardoning Steve Bannon, Paul Manafort, Roger Stone, Michael Flynn, Charlie Kushner? Same concern then?
Steve Bannon just got out of jail. All of these people actually went to jail.
Listen, you guys can spend all day long trying to spin this, that this is Donald Trump's fault, that this is somehow caused by Donald Trump. Oh, he's appointing the wrong people. Oh, he did it. Oh, this is the worst possible thing a president could possibly do to his party and to the country, to sit for a year and say, I will not do this. I will not do this. The rule of law is sacred. We have to respect the justice system.
Facts. They're still trying to get Rudy right now. They're trying to take all Rudy money. I'm not even a Rudy Giuliani fan, but he was America's mayor for a week or so, right after 9/11. He did kind of clean up New York City. But he was on Team Trump, so they got to break him.
Juries. We have to respect juries. We have to respect the guardrails and the norms of our democracy. These people are liars. Inflation is transitory. Afghanistan, it's a success. The border is secure. Robert Hur is a liar. The videos are cheap fakes. Biden has a cold. He'll never drop out. Oh, I'll never pardon Hunter. It's all a lie.
Everything about the Democrat platform is a lie. Once they stood firm on men can be women and women can be men and we can all use the bathrooms, love is love, transgenders, pedophilia is just a sexual attraction. Once the Democrats started to stand on that type of shit, we are in a post-truth politics. That is what the Democrats have given us in the woke Obama era. We are now in a post-truth politic as far as the Democrats are concerned. They don't really operate on objective truth. They operate on political truth.
It is all a grift. Every American, except the most partisan, brain-rotted people, are going to be outraged by this today. He is going to leave off. You think 38, 39% job approval is bad? Just you wait. Just you wait. He's disgraced today. Outrageous.
You don't need to, but Scott, you don't need to hurl names and say people like me are brain rotted. Come on, that's a little beyond the pale, even for you, Scott.
Listen,
we can disagree. We can disagree about
You don't have to defend this. He's leaving office. You don't have to defend it. You don't have to die on this hill. You can say this is wrong because everybody knows that it is. It's wrong.
And that's why we know your brain is rotted. You see nothing wrong.
Are you
Karen?
fine with the lying? Are you
say
fine
good
with
for
him
Joe
sitting
Biden.
before the election all year and lying to the American people? Are you fine with the lying about it?
I don't think that he was lying. I think he made a decision after the fact and decided.
Scott Jennings is a CNN gangster, bro. I don't know why they hired this white man. This is the worst thing. This is the worst hiring decision CNN has made since Don Lemon. just from a liberal media standpoint, this is the wrong time to put a base white man on your team. Fucking up your whole mission. This one white man, this one crafty cracker is fucking up your whole movement right now.
Decided this was the right thing for him and for his family. Period. Full stop.
John,
Donald Trump
do we not
decided
have
that
the
it
minute-
was okay to pardon.
Joe Biden, Karine Jean-Pierre, how many?
Hey, you know what? Speaking of the Huckleberry thing, Donovan says Scott Huckleberry Jennings. I learned an interesting linguistic factoid about the West. You know, in the movie Tombstone, where Doc Holliday, played by Val Kilmer, he says, well, I'll be a Huckleberry. He's not actually saying Huckleberry. Those on a casket, I believe those handles on the side of a casket that you carry the casket with were called huckles. As in, I will carry your casket for you. It was equally gangster, but totally different linguistic meaning. I read that somewhere recently and I was like, oh, a huckleberry. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's still gangster though. But the more you know.
How many minutes of tape do we have of both of these people telling the American people this will not happen? It's I mean, we could play it all morning. It's a lie. And it's a lie to benefit his own family. And that's all that it is. And everybody who went on TV and said, oh, look how he's the modern George Washington. He's drained every ounce of credibility from every surrogate. If Karine Jean-Pierre had an ounce of self-respect, she'd get off the plane in Africa today where they're going so he can avoid the press and resign. He's drained all of her credibility, and everybody else who's defended this, it's draining for them forever.
Well,
not just credibility, but again, moral standing. I posed a question on Twitter. I was responding to something else on Twitter a while ago, but I pointed out a question. How does an atheist conceive of morality? It's a problem for the Democrats if you believe in a thing called morality. What is morality if something like abortion is okay? And it kind of it raises all kinds of deeper issues, but that really is a problem. How based on what are you the more moral person?
Karen, to be fair, Joe Biden, we did play that sound earlier, did flat out say on multiple occasions, and the press secretary did, that he would not pardon Hunter Biden.
He sure did. And I will tell you that he probably heard from a lot of people who said, you know what, sir, go ahead and do it. You should go ahead and protect your son, because who knows what Trump and Trump's Department of Justice will do when they say that their number one goal is retribution. How could you not take the opportunity to say, you know what, this is one thing that I can do for my child. This is one thing I can do to help get the target off of his back. I also, by the way, this is politics. And again,
you know, the problem with the target being on his back narrative, this never happened under the Trump presidency. Trump didn't prosecute Hunter Biden. This all happened under Joe's watch. This is Joe's own DOJ. Are you persecuting your own son with your own administration?
If we're going to, go down and compare list to list, it's not going to look very good for Donald Trump either. And I just don't have a problem with Joe Biden doing this at all.
All right.
Good for him.
Karen Finney.
And I know a lot of Democrats who agree with me.
Karen Finney, Scott Jennings, a discussion that I don't think is going away anytime soon. So I appreciate you both being part of it this morning.
This is 60 Minutes, and we can't put on things we can't verify.
You won't put it on because it's bad for Biden.
We can't put on things we can't verify.
Leslie.
You know what you told me a long time ago when I asked why you keep saying fake in India?
Yeah.
You said to me, I say that because I need to discredit you so that when you say negative things about me, no one will believe
I don't have to discredit you.
But that's what you
You've
told me.
discredited yourself.
You told me that.
Leslie, you've discredited yourself. When you say that you're not going to cover Biden, you're going to ask him what flavor ice cream he has, okay?
That's not
Instead
me.
of why did Hunter get $3.5 million from Moscow? Instead of why is an energy company paying your son $183,000 a month or whatever they're paying him, and he has no experience in energy. You know, you discredit yourself. I don't have to discredit you.
So this story about Hunter and his laptop, some repair shop found it. The source is Steve Bannon and Rudy Giuliani.
I don't know anything about
And
that.
you're
I just know it's a
making-
laptop, and they haven't.
And you're making this one of the hottest, most important issues in your rallies.
It's a very important.
See, 60 Minutes, CBS News, they don't want you to see this footage. They don't want you to see what's really real. They just want you to watch the news. Watching the news and seeing what's real, not even the same thing.
Issue to find out whether or not a man's corrupt who's running for president, who's accepted money from China and from Ukraine and from Russia.
All these
Yeah, I think
things
that's
have
an
been
important issue.
investigated and
It's incredible the way you can try and say this and sit there and look me in the eye and say it.
A Republican
He accepted money,
committee.
his family, from Russia, from Ukraine, from China, and from other places.
And a
His
Republican-
brother, who didn't have experience, became a big builder in Iraq without experience. Take a look at what's going on, Leslie. And then you say how that shouldn't be discussed.
I'm saying
It's the biggest scandal out there, Leslie, and you don't cover it.
because it can't be verified.
You want to talk
I'm
about
telling you.
insignificant.
Not only can it not be verified, you can't even go back and prosecute this shit. Even if you had a rock solid case, you had all the facts, you had all the evidence. You can't go back and get Hunter Biden on this no more. Amazing.
Significant things.
I'm telling you.
Of course it can be verified. Excuse me,
We
they found the
cannot-
laptop. Leslie,
It can't be
Leslie,
verified.
what can't be verified?
The laptop.
Why you said
The hypocrisy. Let me go back to Scott Jennings on CNN. Telling you, this is the worst acquisition
Nothing has changed.
ever.
Can I ask a question? Do you all think that Merrick Garland should be fired because of this corruption at the DOJ?
Again, I don't think there's corruption at the DOJ. I think the concern is the future DOJ
He
is going
does.
to be corrupted.
You think there's corruption there? You think this was a politicized witch hunt? But the
No.
attorney general should be held accountable, no?
These charges were trumped up.
Whoa. Trumped up charges. Sounds like you're making a corruption argument. Whoa. Scott was fucking on fire. Scott was on fire on CNN. Oh, no. Why did you hire this man? Who the fuck thought it was a good idea to hire fucking Scott? He's like Cyclops on the X-Men. Why would you fuck with this guy? Why did you hire this guy? He is not going to do anything good for your liberal cause. I don't know why you guys are doing this. Why would you do this to yourselves? And you got him next to this goofy milk dud ass nigga. Oh God.
Because his name is Hunter Biden.
But wouldn't you, if you were the president, would you believe the attorney general?
Let's consult our legal
No, I
expert
just-
at the desk.
If you
Please
thought there was,
repeat what you
you
said
thought there was
earlier.
corruption, nothing has changed. Can I ask a question? Do you all think that Merrick Garland should be fired?
Wait, I think I got a better clip of that.
NBC News reported that the president and his top aides met this summer and decided two things: that they were going to keep this option open, but they were going to publicly maintain that they would not pardon Hunter Biden through statements from Joe Biden and statements from the White House press secretary. They had a meeting. They coordinated the lie, I guess, for political purposes. And now that he's leaving office, he is going back on what he told the American people. This isn't simply changing your mind. This is just fulfilling what you always intended to do. No Republican is shocked that he is doing this. What I am shocked at is the duplicity of the president of the United States and his top aides to come together and form this lie and stick to it this entire time. We all knew it was ridiculous. And now the American people are seeing what a disgrace he really
I think
is.
it's incredibly rich to have you say that the people got together and they were
I didn't
duplicitous
say
and they created a lie.
NBC News said it.
I'm
NBC
saying they
News said
created
it.
a lie
NBC
because
News said it.
honestly,
NBC News.
what the other side has been saying.
Simply by saying, well, I'm just out looking out for the American
But why
people.
would he have answered?
What do you mean? I don't
Why would he have given such an oddly specific denial numerous times? What could it have
I
possibly
have no,
been?
Scott, I have no idea. All I'm
Politics,
no,
corruption,
Scott,
partisanship,
Sure.
grifting.
But
That's
don't
the
we-
answer.
but
Would it
don't
have
we-
been, the Trump administration had an opportunity to investigate it. They could not verify the things that you're alluding to.
Wait, they tried to, and he got impeached over it. They
He got
impeached Donald
impeached.
Trump over the
Wait a second,
investigation
Scott.
that Hunter Biden has now gotten a
Scott,
pardon
you
for.
don't think
Just a quick point of fact.
2 points.
The Department of Justice investigations, indictments into Hunter Biden. This has nothing to do with the Republican Party. They don't run the Justice Department. The Justice Department, as you might know, since you had been in the government at one time before you lost your race this year, is an agency of the executive branch. The Attorney General is appointed by the president. This is the Biden administration investigating, charging, and ultimately finding conviction of Hunter Biden. The Republican Party runs no investigation. This is an official DOJ action, is it not?
Well,
Not only that, this same DOJ also found Biden guilty, or at least prosecutable of certain charges. It was that I think it was the document scandal. The way they tried to say Trump took some documents out of the office and had them unsecured or whatever. Biden had some documents like laying around his garage, like in a box next to his Corvette or something. And so the prosecutor at the time basically said, you know what, we could prosecute this, but he's like old and really cute, so we're not going to do that. Swear to God, that's what happened.
Just say yes. It's
No,
okay.
no, no.
So are we
How many,
saying
how
we
many
have a
of- how
problem
many of
with
the
all
Trump,
of those
how,
things?
how many of the Trump children that we were told are corrupt needed pardons? Zero.
Scott,
No one
Scott,
looked
okay,
at them,
to
Scott.
be-
I would
to your
love to know
point,
what
to
Derek
your
Bush is
point,
getting
Scott,
$2
to
billion
your point,
from the Saudi
the
government.
Trump children did not face federal charges. To your point, I'm going to give you that. But the person on here, Charles Kushner, who was convicted for a crime.
Did he go to jail?
Yes, he was living in Alabama
He
prison.
served time?
But he was
Yes,
pardoned.
he was
Did
in
Hunter?
prison.
He did
They
not.
completely different
It
times.
strikes me that one of the arguments against
So
this pardon,
you didn't answer the
He's
question.
literally
though.
moved
Are
from a
those
jail
things
cell in
okay?
Alabama
in my mind,
to a
they're not equivalent. They're
I'll
not
answer.
equivalent in any
Guys,
way,
hang
shape,
on a
or
second,
form.
please.
But it's you're bringing up an issue, and you brought it up, so I want to address it. This idea that Hunter Biden is being selectively prosecuted. Now, one of the core criticisms of the Republicans, and Trump specifically, during the Biden years, is that the Department of Justice is engaging in selective prosecution investigations of Republicans. And today, what I hear Democrats saying is, you know what, you're right. Joe Biden's DOJ does engage in selective prosecutions, which is exactly why we need people to come in and clean it out now. There seems to be bipartisan consensus.
Right. Let Elon Musk clean up the government. We need that Department of Government Efficiency. Since y'all said this shit fucked up and y'all know everything, let's clean it up, right?
But
Selective
does it-
prosecutions.
Does it open that door, Congressman?
What though? I'm sorry.
The door
Can I
to
ask a question? Do you all think that Merrick Garland should be fired because of this corruption at the DOJ? You think there's corruption there? You think this was a politicized witch hunt? But the
No.
Attorney General should be held accountable, no?
These charges were trumped up because his name is Hunter Biden.
But wouldn't you, if you were the
had
president, wouldn't you
congressional-
believe the Attorney
There were-
General?
Let's consult.
let me
Let's
let him
consult our legal expert.
Bro, he killed them for the whole segment. Killed them. He ravished them for the whole segment. Had his way with them. Mollywopped them. And now, because the media understands what an awful position this puts them all in, hoes mad.
Hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad.
This is about targeting women of color in the United States of America. Don't tell me, because I didn't get a single apology.
Time has expired.
My life was threatened. Thank you.
Hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad.
Hit that like button for me, y'all. Like, share, and subscribe. Let somebody know that your boy is on right now. Throw $1 in the hat. Support the show.
I follow the Hunter Biden trial very closely. I read every transcript, all the testimony, because that's what all that was made public. And there is, you want to read, you want to get angry, just as somebody in just all these mixed emotions. You read the Hallie Biden transcript, and that's Bo's widow.
Yes.
And essentially he turned her into a crack addict. And this was all happening in 2017, 2018. And Joe Biden were so concerned about their family that they decided to run for president.
Yep.
So when you talk about the word selfish, it's almost like the word doesn't, their decision to run for president put the entire Democratic Party and the United States of America in the position that it's in now.
Bro, that's an indictment right there. That's Chuck Todd. Wow. Liberals are really mad at this.
Hypocrisy isn't illegal.
Remember, the Democrats didn't just run this election with the argument that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, they are good, decent, better people, right? That was the argument. I know Trump has your attention. He says funny things, but Harris and Biden are just good people. That was the point. They were good people. It's hard to say good people tell lies like this. And the Democrats, by extension, were saying that we're the party of good people. We're honest, hardworking, righteous people. It's all bullshit. It's all fucking lies. It's all dying right now on the vine. Well, I'm noticing a little sidebar conversation in the chat. Apparently, I missed an interesting moment involving fucking Stanley of all people. What happened there? And shout out to True Hype with $5.99 Cash App. He says, Gon's gonna be mad, just like the hoes now. Thank you for that. Appreciate you. Shout out to my man Hype for supporting the show.
Hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad.
This is about targeting women of color in the United States of America. Don't tell me because I didn't get a single
Time has
apology.
expired.
My life was threatened. Thank you.
Hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad.
I feel like I missed out on a lot of. Did Stanley watch the balloon show where the trans dude tried to kiss somebody or something like that? Damn it. Y'all said they erased the stream. Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible. We need to see that, man. I need that moment of realness, man. God damn it. I'm glad somebody caught it though.
I mean, obviously that's.
Holy shit, Friezo. Oh, all of a sudden he's not as progressive and forward thinking as he. Hey, you know what? I'm happy for him though. I'm happy for him. You know, I always knew there was something, like, he's not that crazy. He's an asshole, but he's not that crazy. And I could differentiate that in him. I knew that he's full of shit. He's an asshole and he's full of shit. But when push come to shove, he will fight a transgender. That's respectable. I like that. I like that. Stanley will fight a transgender. We need to. I'm glad we know these things about him. All right, I totally wasn't even listening to the Jon Stewart clip. We were talking about Stanley. Oh, well, fuck it. It's over now. Moving on.
Faith in the rule of law. Finally. Democrats have a moral perch from which they can judge without shame, hypocrisy, or nuance.
Breaking news, President Biden has issued a
Whoa. Jon Stewart, you jumping on the same shit I jumped on earlier. Jon Stewart is mocking Democrat moral hypocrisy, which is ironic on a couple of levels. This shit is fucking mess. That's a real crackhead looking picture of Hunter Biden right there. Hunter Biden. In this picture, Hunter Biden looked like a fiend that got a haircut, put on a suit. Like they made him go to church that day. He still looked like every bit of a fiend, though. Like a fiend in recovery. Year get out of jail free card is fucking crazy. If that's not white supremacy, bro, I don't know what is. I ain't never, in all of my years studying and analyzing racism on YouTube, I'm going to give myself an official title. I'm a YouTube racism analyst, okay? I have analyzed racism on YouTube for years now. And in all of this time, as a trained professional, I have never seen an example of white supremacy so glaring. This nigga got an 11-year get out of jail free card, bro. They basically telling him to go catch some bodies. Like, if you got some ops, you might as well just go and get it done. Like, this shit is wild. 11 years? You know what I would do with an 11-year free pass? I'm turning the whole Atlantic City into the Carter, bro. Jesus Christ, you got an 11-year free pass, bro? What the fuck? This shit don't make no sense. Who the fuck gets that? How is this not white supremacy? I'm about to be on some BLM shit. These niggas is just getting flagrant with it. God damn. That is a really, like, particular amount of time. It's like a very, very specific time frame, all right? I want you to be covered from these amount of years all the way up until now. Like, why not take it back to the whole Obama administration? No. I wasn't doing shit until, like, the second term. No. 2010, all the way up. Like, bro, this shit just suspicious as fuck, bro. This nigga he got a whole multiverse get out of jail free card. Biden was like, any crime Hunter may have committed on this timeline or any other timeline in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, he can no longer be prosecuted. This get out of jail free card encompasses all of the MCU timelines and the DCU as well. This nigga can't go to jail in any universe, bro. God damn. If you caught this nigga on Earth 615, you still can't lock him up. If you caught him on Earth 1147, this nigga just gonna be chilling. This shit crazy.
Of the Earths in the multiverse.
How you get a multiversal bro? This nigga took systemic racism to the multiverse, bro. I told you Joe Biden was not to be fucked with. This nigga done expanded systemic racism into the fucking multiverse. Multiversal systemic racism. All the timelines. You can't he's untouchable across all the timelines. He's like Deadpool. You can't kill this nigga no matter what. This nigga he gave this nigga the Deadpool pass, bro. This shit don't make no sense. No matter what. You can't fuck with this boy. That's crazy. I've never heard of anything like this. In all of my years, I've never heard of this shit before. This that like straight off the boat systemic racism right here. This shit is uncut. This shit ain't never been stepped on. One hit of this systemic racism, you're gonna be hooked for 2 lifetimes. This shit is raw. And these niggas love it. These niggas love that
this
shit.
118th Congress, they opened up an impeachment inquiry into President Biden. People may have forgotten that. In our nation's recent history, only 5 presidents before Biden had ever had an impeachment inquiry opened against them. And all of the recent impeachment inquiries, except for Joe Biden, who was the 6th president to have an impeachment inquiry opened against him, were based on credible evidence. The inquiry was so dang on baseless that in the only public hearing that the Oversight Committee had on this,
Yo, this racism so heavy, they got to use the scale that they weigh the whales with, bro. That's how thick this racism is, bro. That's how heavy the racism is, man. They got to use the scale that they weigh the whales with, bro. It's that big money racism right here.
their own witnesses said there was no there there. So knowing all of that, do we actually believe that Joe Biden was just going to let the president-elect's administration make good on their promise to go after his son? Joe Biden is leaving the stage. He's leaving the stage. This is not a Donald Trump situation where he could potentially come back and run for president. He is done. He has done everything
You know, this one regret, I had a beautiful big back clip, and it was, I never managed to actually save it, and I lost the bookmark. But yeah, Simone got the big back. Big back, big back. Big back, big back.
Joe Biden has played by all the rules that people told him we had to play by, right? He's done it all. So good for Joe Biden and good for Hunter, I say. Sorry to the comm shop this week.
Simone Sanders got one of those bodies where I bet having sex with her feels like gay sex, right? Like deep in the pussy, you still feel like you fucking a man's body. Like, she just got one of those fucked up body shapes. Like, just fucking her feels like gay sex, bro. I know that. And then she got the bald head, like Tyrone. She got a bald head. Like, that shit just got to be all type of awkward. I know her husband gay as shit, bro. There's no way that nigga not gay. Fucking her is gay by default. That nigga gotta be out the closet. He not even ashamed or nothing. That nigga proud.
It's very unfortunate to the people in the comm shop. Okay, I know how it is to be a spokesman, but like, oh well. The Democrats need to just really, the House is literally on fire and y'all still looking for the keys. Donald Trump is about to, I want to hold America's hand when I say this, baby, Donald Trump is about to be president. Donald Trump is about to be president, and the Supreme Court has said he's basically a king with an asterisk.
Yeah.
So please.
Immunity.
What is happening here?
Tell me that is not a nigga outside the liquor store looking ass body. Tell me that's not one of them niggas that be hanging out at the gas stations in Atlanta. Come on, man. I recognize the build. I recognize your swag archetype. You got that hang out in front of the gas station body type. Just saying. Bitch so funny looking, I don't even be remembering what she be talking about. I'll be distracted about her ugly. My bad. Her words wasn't that important, no way.
Hunter was singled out because he broke the law. That's number one. He was singled out because he had an illegal gun and tax evasion charges, not because he was the president's son. And I honestly don't care. I just want Democrats to stop acting like they are on this moral high ground politically when they have shown us they're not, whether it's skipping the primary process when Biden stepped down and things like Biden pardoning his son. Stop acting like y'all the pure party and Republicans aren't. And it also shows me elected officials can do whatever they want as long as they have the political will and courage to do it.
Absolutely. But let me ask you a question. I know at first Hunter was only supposed to get, community service and probation. And then when that was supposed to happen, they pulled it off the table and they said that Republicans forced him to get charged. Is that true? And that's the reason why he was pardoned?
I'm not sure why he was necessarily pardoned.
How can Republicans force you to get charged under Joe Biden's DOJ? I don't understand that. I feel like y'all blaming the wrong people here, man. You got to look inward, nigga. Look inward.
Because at first, first he was supposed to only get probation, and then they pulled that back and then gave him time, right?
I don't know nothing about that. I thought he was facing 42 years in prison for illegal gun possession and tax charges.
Get my son out. What are you talking about? Yes, he definitely. Because he lied on paperwork to get the gun, and he was addicted to drugs at the time.
Yep.
And he was supposed to be addicted to drugs when he.
Standing by. Apparently, YouTube just gave me the tap on the shoulder. YouTube just gave me the tap on the shoulder. We will be right back. Do me a favor, put a 1 in the chat when you guys can hear me back on YouTube. Let me know when I'm back up on YouTube. We got snatched up by the big back police. Big back police ran down on us real quick. It's all good. It is all good. We should be back at live in just a minute. They always fucking with your boy. Stream unavailable. Okay, it looks like we are back. Are we back now? Or do we have contact? All right, there we go. We are back. So I guess we got to leave Charlemagne alone. These niggas, they got copyright heavy on us. But Charlemagne was making my same point. You niggas got no moral high ground left. But anyway, we just gonna move on from that because these niggas be acting like some hoes. Skip ahead. We're back at it, y'all. Pardon the break.
Sunday night, it was a reversal of what he had repeatedly said, that he would not use his executive authority to pardon his son or commute a sentence. But he put out a statement. He said, I believe in the justice system, but as I have wrestled with this, I also believe raw politics has infected this process. And it led to a miscarriage of justice. And once I made this decision this weekend, there was no sense in delaying it further. I hope Americans will understand why a father and a president would come to this decision. His son, Hunter Biden, was expected to be sentenced December 12th for his conviction on federal gun charges. He also was set to be sentenced December 16th in a separate criminal case in which he pled guilty to federal tax evasion charges in September. The president issued a full and unconditional pardon for any offenses Hunter Biden has committed or may have committed or taken part in during the period from January 1st, 2014 through December 1st, 2024. He spanned 10 years. According to the White House statement, Biden is using his pardon power to ensure Hunter does not spend time in jail as he nears the end of his term as president. He said, earlier he said he would not pardon him, but that was when he thought Kamala Harris was going to be president and things were going to be normal and we would have a government that made sense and that there wouldn't be a whole lot of pedophiles and criminals running the joint, and people who stormed the Capitol on January 6th wouldn't be looking at a pardon while his son sits in jail. Just didn't make any sense, I guess. I don't give a damn that he did this, by the way. I could care. The care that I have for this, I almost didn't even.
It's crazy how like all that racial shit black Democrats talk, they love cheerleading for their favorite white man though. Like this is some amazing favorite white man fan club shit right here.
And I'm like, why are we talking? Why is this a story? Joel Christian.
I've been looking around and I know my studio is messy, but I can't find any fucks to give about this.
Oh,
I can't.
In the corner over there near the fax machine, there's nothing.
No, there's not. There's none over there. There's none up under the desk here. Like I don't like politicians are doing what politicians do, right? Like, what do I think it's okay? No, I do not think it's okay. You shouldn't do this. Like if you did a crime, you should serve time, whether you're Joe Biden's son or Jared Kushner's father. FYI. Future
His father
ambassador.
did go to jail, by the way.
Yeah, he was pardoned. He was pardoned by Trump.
Oh, okay. I did know that.
Tax evasion.
I'm feigning shock. Now he's ambassador to France.
Yeah, and
Nothing to see here.
right?
Yeah.
All these criminals in the government, like, and everybody gonna be mad at Joe Biden because he pardoned his son after, what did Mike Johnson say? Like, Hunter Biden, doesn't matter that Hunter Biden is a private citizen. We should investigate him to the fullest. Matt Gaetz, on the other hand,
Again, that's the president's son. You got to be careful about security risk and whatnot, which they obviously aren't. But clearly, Black Democrats have no problem supporting a favorite white man.
is a private citizen, and there's no reason that, like, these people, and this is why, like, I want to divorce myself from everything that happens in Washington, D.C. 100%. I want a divorce.
Me too. I don't care. Let the whatever. There was a headline that said France. I was watching CNBC today, watching the stock market, which is so interesting. I'm so confused by everything, but I'm still in it. I just bought more shares of something today. But it said France's government on the brink of collapse, and I was like, I bet France is saying America's government's on the brink of, like, it's all lunacy right now.
Yeah.
Wherever the F's are to give, I don't have any either.
Yeah.
So
I mean, and this is the argument that I was
saying everything is crazy isn't really like a principled argument towards your position. Basically, it's not really the thing you think it is, but whatevs. I want to jump ahead now. I want to share something else with you guys. Stephen A. Smith put out a little piece earlier today. Well, he put out his show today, and I caught a segment of it talking about the pardon. Very interesting words from Stephen A. Smith.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the latest edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show, coming at you at the very least 3 days a week over the digital airwaves of YouTube. Hope you had an absolutely happy and wonderful Thanksgiving with your family and loved ones and all of that good stuff. I know I had a good time. By the way, as always, I'd like to take a moment to thank my subscribers and followers. We've now eclipsed over 945,000 subscribers, rapidly approaching 1 million subscribers over the digital airways of YouTube. And of course, we've had over 3 million downloads over the last couple of months or so. Can't thank y'all enough for the love and support. Keep it coming, and I'm gonna keep on coming. If you want to continue to like and follow the show, just click the bell for all of our new content, and you too shall be the latest member of the Stephen A. Smith Show family. And while you're doing that, make sure you pick up a copy of my New York Times best-selling memoir, Straight Shooter, a memoir of second chances and first takes, in paperback now as we speak. Just go to straightshooterbook.com to get yourself a copy. Once again, that's straightshooterbook.com to get yourself a copy. I'm hearing it's a wonderful Christmas gift. I ain't gonna tell you who I heard that from, but it's a lot of people. They tell me it's inspirational. You should go check it out. All right. Biden reversed course when it comes to his son, Hunter Biden. The president issued a full and unconditional pardon for Hunter, who faced sentencing this month for federal tax and gun convictions. The pardon means Hunter Biden won't be sentenced for his crimes, and it also eliminates any chance that he'll be sent to prison. In fact, the pardon explicitly grants clemency for the tax and gun offenses from his existing cases, plus any potential federal crimes that Hunter Biden may have committed dating as far back from January 1st, 2014 through December 1st, 2024, which was just there ago. The time frame is specific because it covers Hunter's work overseas with Ukraine, China, and other foreign business dealings, okay? Here's a part of President Biden's statement in regards to the move. Quote, "Today, I signed a pardon for my son, Hunter. From the day I took office, I said I would not interfere with the Justice Department's decision making, and I kept my word, even as I have watched my son being selectively and unfairly prosecuted. Without aggravating factors like use in a crime, multiple purchases, or buying a weapon as a straw purchaser, people are almost never brought to trial on felony charges solely for how they filled out a gun form. Those who were late paying their taxes because of serious addictions, but paid them back subsequently with interest and penalties, are typically given non-criminal resolutions."
I never knew that serious addiction was an acceptable defense in tax payment cases. I never knew you can go in front of like your tax judge and be like, listen, man, I was so cracked out. I just totally forgot to do the paperwork. Is that a thing? Help me out here. I didn't know. I'm not as worldly as all the other people. I don't know these things.
It is clear that Hunter was treated differently. No reasonable person who looks at the facts of Hunter's cases can reach any other conclusion than Hunter was singled out only because he is my son, and that is wrong. There has been an effort to break Hunter, who has been 5.5 years sober, even in the face of unrelenting attacks and selective prosecution. In trying to break Hunter, they've tried to break me, and there's no reason to believe it will stop here. Enough is enough, end quote. Now, Biden's opponents, which include President-elect Donald Trump, have repeatedly said Hunter should be prosecuted for his activities in Ukraine and elsewhere. Respectfully, to the President of the United States, specifically as it pertains to that statement, you're full of it. I'm going to look right here over the national airwaves and look the President of the United States in the face and saying you're full of it. Not because you let your son off. Any decent father would do that. Never mind the business dealings that was going on in Ukraine and China and other places. While you were vice...
What do you mean, never mind the business deals that were going on in Ukraine and China and other places? What other places? What do you mean, never mind the business deals? That's the whole thing that we need to understand. Remember, not only is Ukraine at war basically because of us, we have to give them all this money and material and everything. We got to give them Bitcoins and shit so they can stay alive against Russia. And I would like to know what was Joe Biden and Hunter Biden's business interest before we went to war with Ukraine.
President under the Obama administration, I'm not talking about that. This is not a complaint about Hunter Biden getting off. I said weeks ago, you damn right you should let him off. He's your son. And he's a recovering addict. And he's battled those demons for years. And the fact that you let your son off, I totally understand. Donald Trump would have let his son off. Anybody would have. Or at least most people. I understand that. That's not the issue, sir. The issue...
Nobody's going to call out that issue, SKC. Obviously, not only did Hunter commit treason, and no, it's not that Hunter committed treason at all. It's that Joe Biden committed treason. Hunter was the middleman for Joe Biden. Joe Biden is the big guy. You are not allowed to have backdoor deals with your diplomatic contacts that you can profit off of. This is treasonous. That's the treason that nobody wants to mention, and that is why Hunter has the 12-year get-out-of-jail-free card.
And why I say you're full of it is because of the excuse you gave. A simple statement. That's my son. I have the power to pardon him, to grant him clemency, whatever. That's what I'm doing. Y'all kick rocks. That'd have been good enough for me. That's your son. That's your son. That's your flesh and blood. That's your child. And as you pointed out, he's battled a lot of demons. He's gone through a lot. I get it. But what's all of that other stuff you said about? You highlighting the transgressions and talking about how, oh my goodness, if it were anybody else, it would not have been considered or classified as a felony. If it was somebody else, they would have got off. Well, you ain't somebody else. You were the vice president.
I watched this morning and I'm like, damn, Stephen A was kind of going ham on Joe. You really didn't go this ham on Joe, leading up to the election, which is weird, but, it's over now. I'm not going to have to bring that up too much. But he was really going ham. You feel some type of way, don't you? Ho's a little mad, Stephen?
And obviously, considering the crimes that he was being accused of, I understand the gun charge, I understand tax charges, but the things that they were investigating in terms of his dealings with Ukraine, his dealings with China, and whatever purported money was funneled to the Biden family, considering all of those things, those are valid things that warrant an investigation. And again, if you don't want it investigated and you want to let him off, President Biden, no problem. Just say that. That's my son. That's my son. That ain't what you said. You tried to highlight how innocent he is. Damn near called him a paragon of virtue.
Again, Democrats have destroyed the very concept of morality. There is no virtue. Right now, if I were to say the word virtue in your mind, I guarantee you would hearken back to what is basically images of a Christian ethos type of world. The Democrats are at odds with that very ethos. They don't believe in virtue. There is no virtue. There's no truth. There's no virtue. There's just power and blood.
But what did you do to Donald Trump? See, we want to sit up here and everybody was afraid to talk about it leading up to the election. Or even when we were willing to talk about it, we had to dance the dance. We had to go around, up the block, around the damn corner, come right back around and vaguely get into stuff. We had to point out the 34 felony convictions. We had to talk about the 2 impeachments. We had to talk about the abundance of allegations that took place, including an election fall and citing an insurrection and all of this other stuff. We had to talk about all of that. But conveniently, it was coming down the pike like a damn tsunami when you knew you were going to have to run against them.
Which, to tie all that together, you guys are so full of shit now, so openly, visibly full of shit, it diminishes all of your previous accusations, which they don't matter now anyway because Trump won with all the felonies and whatnot. All right, my bad. We are back. Jesus Christ, we just having all kind of tech issues tonight. I just had a huge, catastrophic tech problem. But anyway, we're back. We're back.
After him, you do understand that the Democrats are no longer in a position to say anything, right? You can talk till the cows come home. You whistling into the wind. Nobody wants to hear what you have to say right now. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about your party. Because when you pardon your son, going back on your word, telling the American people there was no way that you were going to pardon him when everybody and their grandmama knew you were lying but didn't hold you accountable for it. And now you've confirmed what people believe, that you were probably going to be lying about that very thing that you said you wouldn't do for your son. All you had to do was say, he's my son. I can't let him go to jail. What's the matter with y'all? Do I got to act like Dana Carvey from Saturday Night Live? And another thing, and by the way, is that what I got to do? All you had to do was say, that's my son. I'm not sending him to jail. I have the power to pardon him and to bring him home with me when I walk away from the White House, ending my political career. I'm taking my son home with me. Everybody would understand that. That wasn't good enough for you. It wasn't good enough for you. Instead, you have to try to come across like he was victimized because of you, like you're so innocent, like you're such a paragon of virtue. And as a result, now you've brought more skepticism in the direction of the Democratic Party. Why? Because you show you're no different than the other side, which you were accusing of everything.
Yeah, this is like a really epic rant from Stephen A. Smith here. And SKC asks, is this one of the worst political implosions in American history? I don't know if I'm well versed enough to claim it among the worst, but it has the feelings of the worst. It feels like we're scraping the bottom here. I don't know if we've ever scraped the bottom any harder than this. It's definitely the worst in my lifetime. You probably got to go back to, like, I don't know, Taft or some shit. You got to go back deep in American voting history to find something even close to how awful this is.
Y'all went after Donald Trump for everything but tying his shoelaces on the right way. You raked him through the coals. You threw him under the bus. You did everything to him. And I'm in no way trying to act like he's some innocent bystander in all of this. But when the word hypocrisy comes up, there's no escaping it. There's no escaping it. And that's only one problem with the Democratic Party. That has nothing to do, well, maybe not nothing, but it doesn't have as much to do with what I'm about to say. What I'm about to say. Because now I'm about to turn my attention to the Democrats in the presidential election they lost 4 weeks ago. I mentioned it just a second ago. I'm going to mention it again because the news doesn't get any better in terms of how much they spent to win. The Harris campaign reportedly paid Al Sharpton's nonprofit organization $500,000 prior to the vice president's sit down with a civil rights activist and an MSNBC host. According to
they are corrupt on every level. In every conceivable fashion, they are corrupt. And they're kind of pissing off their own. They're so bad, they're pissing off their own team. It's crazy.
When you notice the period of time in which Biden has provided the blanket pardon for his son, the dates are super fishy. I noticed that it's like this lengthy 11-year period. So like what justifies that? And more importantly, when did he commit the crimes that he's being prosecuted for? So I looked into this and luckily Lee Fong did some excellent reporting on this issue. He writes that the order grants Hunter a pardon for those offenses against the United States which he has committed or may have committed or taken part in during the period from January 1st, 2014 through December 1st, 2024. So that's 10 years, a 10-year span. So he writes that the pardon window extends beyond the period of the crimes prosecuted by the Department of Justice. Okay, because after all, the illegal firearm purchase was on October 12th of 2018. Hunter failed to pay his 2016, 2017, 2018, and 2019 taxes on time. So what justifies going all the way back to January 1st of 2014? Well, 2014 is when he was tapped to serve on the board of the Ukrainian gas company Burisma. And while Joe Biden has not been found guilty, there's no evidence to indicate that Joe Biden engaged in any influence peddling. Recent reporting from the New York Times indicates that Hunter Biden was certainly trying to engage in influence peddling. Now, there hasn't been any
Now, if Hunter is engaging in influence peddling, who is he most likely peddling influence to or for? I mean, it's not like Joe Biden. I mean, it's not like Hunter Biden was an automatic conduit to Barack. You know what I mean? It's not like he was an automatic conduit to Bill or Hillary Clinton. You can't just say that Hunter Biden was influence peddling without mentioning that his father was the vice president at the time.
Prosecution on those grounds. And I think that the congressional Republicans were so intent on catching Joe Biden in some sort of criminality that they kind of didn't pursue prosecution of Biden on these alleged corruption charges or corruption allegations. But nonetheless, I think that window is far too long. And to me, it signals that there's a possibility that Hunter Biden did something illegal and Joe Biden is offering this blanket pardon for a lengthier period of time in order to protect his son. I could be wrong about that.
I totally forgot Trump pardoned Lil Wayne. Y'all don't give that man his props, man. Y'all got to give Trump some credit. That sounds like a pretty straightforward definition. If it's not lying to the public, then what in fact is it? What would you call it if it's not lying? All right, now you're going too far, little brown bitch. You're going way too far. Now she want to do away with background checks totally because Trump is back in the White House. No. Oh, God, Jesus Christ. That's what you get for listening to girls talk. Isn't that kind of the issue? That is literally the issue. If you were Joe Smith, you would have faced some consequence, though. A regular citizen doesn't really just get to lie on paperwork, especially at a federal level, and it just doesn't mean anything. And Joe Smith, like his daddy, doesn't have the president to make it all go away either. I mean, he doesn't have the president as a daddy to make it all go away. So the whole thing is like, this is the systemic racism that the Democrats tell black people that they should always be mad about. Don't all these convictions kind of seem spooky anyway? I mean, I'm not even going to debate the facts of any of these charges with the Trump guys who went to jail, but the same way you went after Trump with all these bullshit charges, you went after his whole team with all these bullshit charges. So, like, again, it's a credibility issue. You guys have rigged the game so thoroughly that nobody believes your score anymore. Talk like they go to church every Sunday. Like they just wake up trying to figure out how to be better people in the eyes of the Lord.
Good human being leading.
She's about to blame Trump. And that's really the whole that's the Democrats' whole defense for everything. You know, why did you abort these children, Trump? Why did you have your womb yanked out, Trump? Why did you sneak these illegals across the border, Trump? Why do you have all these ballots in your trunk, Trump? The reason for everything is Trump. So it wasn't a lie. It's a lady's prerogative to change his mind, apparently.
He said, well, why am I busting my behind to stay straight and do this when nobody?
Yeah. Going forward, I wonder. I was thinking about this issue. This is it's too philosophical for a political party, perhaps. But I was asking these questions before about morals and religion. You know, if like basically how does an atheist conceive of God? I mean, I'm sorry, how does an atheist conceive of morality? Because in my mind, morality is connected to your religious worldview, whatever God you pray to, whatever religious construct you operate under, that informs your morality greatly. And the Democrats either don't really have a traditional religion from the Western standpoint, like they've really rejected Christian morality, and then B, they've adopted some kind of alien morality. So it's like either you don't believe in God, or you believe in a God that is radically the rules for your God are radically different. So it's like, all right, two different paths to go down. If you don't believe in God, what do you base your morality on? Right? That is a whole line of philosophical question in and of itself, right? But here's another part of it. This is the other side of the coin. What is the Democrats' new morality scheme? Because, we try to work it out when you look at things like, the Victim Olympics, the victimhood pyramid, who rests at the top of the victimhood pyramid and who's at the bottom and whatnot. And you try to work out a kind of social rule system from these observations, but it's difficult. It's difficult. I don't claim to have a final word on that, but I think about this. What is the Democrat morality framework? What is Democrat morality? Interesting. David says postmodernism cannot acknowledge any morality. I don't know if that's true. There is never a lack of morality. There may be a corrupt, illogical form of morality that runs the show, but there's never a lack of morality, because morality is simply the organizing principle upon which you would enforce rules, right? But what is the organizing principle upon which Democrats would enforce rules? And the only thing that seems to play out is power. Morality and power, sometimes they go hand in hand, sometimes they are at odds. It depends on the moment and the morality, the moral framework. But to try to work this out mentally, it seems like the Democrat moral framework is power for Democrats. At least that's one level of it. But beyond power for Democrats, it's hard to really work out a more objective Democrat morality. There are some hallmarks we can kind of follow, like racism. Like, who's at the top of the gender? Well, who's at the top of the oppression pyramid, at the woke pyramid? It would be non-white transgenders. Probably a Jewish transgender with brown skin. But how do you work out a moral paradigm based on these observations, right? It is impossible to accurately gauge what Democrat morality is. It is a very subjective, nearly impossible thing to logically work out. it can be depicted in memes at best. That's why the meme world is such a powerful phenomenon, but trying to work that out is frustrating. It's frustrating. But anyway, I'm gonna wrap this one up tonight. Appreciate you guys coming through. Shout out to Hunter Biden. He got the free my nigga hookup. I'm not a hater. It is what it is. I know what it's like to be like, damn, finally out of jail. I get it. I ain't gonna take that from you, Hunter. Your pops is some bullshit. Your whole squad is some bullshit, though. Your whole team on some bullshit. But you know, whatever. It is what it is. Trump won. Biden trying to get his last little wins out before it's too late. And the game goes on. Have a good night, y'all.
It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done.